The Truth as Told by Mason Buttle. Chapter 7, 2 Pretzels. The first rule about the swoof is that you are always welcome. Another rule is you cannot stay all day. Miss Blinny will touch her heart with her hand and say, "Sorry, I'm not allowed to keep you forever." Someday I will tell her that it doesn't make sense. How can you always be welcome if sometimes you cannot stay? The bell is about to ring. I will have to go along to class. I get my tall knees out from under the desk, close to the lid of the laptop. When I turn to leave, I hear a hi. I look around. It's like that hi came from the couch in the swoof. Then I see the kid. He has nothing but a pair of shoes and a fluffy white head. Kitten hair. The shoes are the desert boot kind, tan, sandy color. Can't see the rest of him because the big soft couch is swallowing up the whole middle of him. I can tell he's small and thin. Looks like someone made him out of paper clips and scotch tape. He's looking up at me, way up. I'm thinking about that hi. It was not a smiling hi. Not an I don't really mean it hi. Not a hi with so much air behind it that you'd never believe it was real. Just a plain hi. Like, you belong here as much as I belong here, and you'll get no trouble from me. He goes back to tapping around on the tablet in his lap. Well, if he even has a lap, I can't tell. Then he holds up a package of pretzels in his free hand. He jiggles the bag twice. "Oh, for me?" I ask. "Of course," he says. I dry my sweaty hand on my pants, 3 swipes, before I take one of the pretzels. "Thank you." He nods. "I'm Mason," I tell him. Then I add, "Buttle." He looks up again just long enough that I see him smile. I know that Buttle is a funny name. He looks back down at his tablet and he says, "Of course you are. I'm Calvin Chomsky. I ride your bus." His smile grows out on one side of his mouth. "Buttle and Chomsky," he whispers. I hear a little snort come out of him. Yes, on? Calvin Chomsky. So like chum, and then it's spelled S-K-Y. The bell rings. I tell him, I have to go. He nods and says, "One more for the road," and shakes his pretzel bag again. I take another. I thank him, and I start for the door. He says, "Hey, curious shirt, by the way." I look at my chest, upside down words. I think, what is it again? And then I remember. Think outside the picture of a box, can you? I tell Calvin Chomsky, "Yeah, it is. Curious." Chapter 8, Big Yellow Chips. While I'm eating Calvin Chomsky's pretzels in the hall, I think this. It's been a long time since another kid offered me something to eat. Unless I count the time Matt Drinker and Lance Pearson got me to eat dog treats at the lunch table. They gave me some trouble, Matt and Lance. Stuff like this stupid shirt. But they didn't mean anything by it. Not really. Man, they had a laugh about those dog treats. I didn't get it. I tried to say something polite about those big yellow chips, but they were horrible and hard. They made me check myself for a broken tooth. I hid those chips in my sweaty hand and pretended like I had finished them up. When no one was looking, I put them in the trash can. All afternoon, kids passed me in the hallway saying, "Woof, woof, bow, wow." If they weren't barking, they were falling apart laughing. Made me laugh too. I didn't know what it was about. Not until I went to Matt's house to take care of his dog, Mooney, a few days later. I do that when his family goes away. Matt lives in the house down a long hill from me, through our orchard, and his house is on one part of the land that Uncle Drum sold to the developers. I love Matt's dog, Mooney. I like his house, still smells new, and I like his mom. But I didn't like it much when I saw a box of those yellow chips in the Drinker pantry next to Mooney's dog food. Oh well, that's when I knew. I survived eating a dog treat. Tell you what, worse can happen. So if we read between the lines there, what the character is telling us. What are we learning about Matt Drinker? Kane?
What was the kid's name again?
Mason?
No. Calvin? The dude who gave him the two presents.
Oh, that's Calvin. What are we learning about Matt Drinker and his buddy? Julie?
He made him eat dog treats.
Yeah. Did Mason know what he was eating? Harrison?
He's a bully.
Sounds like he's kind of a bully, doesn't it? Anyway, lucky thing to meet someone, and I know that you like them right away, and they like you. It used to happen more, but not as much now. But that is how it was when I met Miss Blinny. And now with that little dude Calvin Chomsky with the pretzels. And going back a while, it was like that with Matt's mom, Mrs. Drinker. She is a real friend of mine, a grown-up one. Been that way ever since I met her. That was the day I rode my sled in through her cellar window. I'll tell you what, that is something that could have been all bad. But Mrs. Drinker turned it into good. Chapter 9, The Sled. When the sled accident happened, Matt was the first one down his cellar stairs. He was pretty new in Merrimack. I already knew him from school, and the bus, and a few apple fights. Ones I didn't really want to be in. Already knew that it was his cellar that I'd crashed into. His mom and his dad came down from the stairs right behind him as Matt was yelling. His mom was gasping, and this black and white dog was looking at me all curious and wagging so hard. That's Mooney. He has the best tail that ever grew off the back of any dog. I was apologizing as fast as I could and as many times as I could for breaking through the window and collapsing one end of the drinkers' ping pong table. Oh, and for denting their big white chest freezer. Tell you what, that sled sailed out from under me and hit it. I'm not sure how that happened. Must be about gravity or something. I was trying to get up off the ping pong table. Mrs. Drinker was begging me to stay down so she could look me over. Mooney must have thought down was meant for him because he dropped into that elbow walking thing that most dogs do. He was trying to behave himself, but still get to me. Matt yelled at me, "Buttle, you idiot!" I sat up. Mrs. Drinker told me, Wait, honey, does anything hurt? What about your head? Are you bleeding?" Matt said, "You are so gonna pay for that window, Buttle, and this ping pong table too." "Matty," Mrs. Drinker scoffed at him. "This is a person who could be hurt. Let's not worry about objects." I touched my head, felt for my hat, had that big pom-pom right on top. I think I'm pretty okay," I said. "Well, our house isn't," Matt said. "There's damage, and you trespassed too." I said, "Yeah, I made it around the apple trees. I thought I was going to be able to steer between the yards too. I don't know what happened." I shook my head, looking at the mess all around us. "Wow, breaking and entering," I said. That made Mrs. Drinker laugh. "I'm real sorry. I will pay for it. I will," I said. And then Mrs. Drinker looked ready to cry. "Every last penny," Matt said. "Matty, stop that," Mrs. Drinker said. And then she really did sniffle. She put her arm around me. Then Matty's dog Mooney crawled up and he put his arm around me too. They walked me home. Matt's dog and Matt's mom. She put on her boots and pulled my sled up the hill, even though I said I could do it. She wasn't having that. So we walked and I reached down to pat Mooney's happy head. He kept putting his ears back up for a scratch. And then he ran up ahead all bouncy. All I had to do was say his name and back he came, right to me, dog smile on his face. First time I met him. I told Mrs. Drinker, "That is a great dog. He's welcome to come in the house and meet my grandma while I get you the money. And if I don't have enough today, I'll earn some more and I will pay you back." "Mason, we do not worry about the money." "But I broke your window. I should pay, and I can pay. I get money from helping people. Or maybe I can do something for you. I'm a good worker. I like work." That's how Mrs. Drinker and I got the idea for me to come and take care of Mooney. She likes how it works out because they go see Matt's dad a lot. He has a crazy job. He was supposed to be in Merrimack more, but he's gone. Most of the time, it seems like. So I do that a lot now. I check on their house and I bring in the mail when they go away. I'm welcome to hang around the place, play with Mooney, keep him company. And I do that. I love that dog.